The Toyota Tacoma might have been considered the best midsize pickup truck of all time. However, its newest iteration leaves a lot to be desired. A suboptimal and unproven inline-4 engine, mediocre trucking capabilities, and above all else, a very steep price have made it quite a bit less desirable with the average American buyer. However, what if we told you the Nissan Frontier offers all of the stuff the Tacoma missed, and at a very approachable price? Today we'll be taking a detailed look at why you should give the other Japanese option a chance, as we explain why this 2025 Nissan Frontier proves you don't have to go Tacoma to get a badass truck. A naturally aspirated V6 is available as standard. One of the biggest reasons why we simply adore the Nissan Frontier is the fact that it is one of a rare few midsize pickup trucks that offers a traditional, simple, and extremely potent power plant. Say hello to its 3.8-liter V6 engine, what we deem to be the masterpiece of the midsize pickup truck segment, and one of the last two honest-to-good powertrains, the other one being the less remarkable 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 in the Jeep Gladiator. This engine is a very competent unit, and it is highly competitive to all the other power plants in this segment, with a supple amount of power, 310 horsepower to be exact, and a pretty good amount of torque, 281 pound-feet. However, where it excels is the pure simplicity. Unlike the Tacoma's 2.4, which is an overly complex turbocharged unit, the Frontier's V6 has no forced induction, resulting in the components being drastically more reliable and having a higher projected lifespan. In addition to that, very little can go wrong, as the fact that there is no turbocharger, no intercooler, and no peripherals that are a part of the whole forced induction system are also absent. In addition to that, this engine is also a world away from the Ford Ranger's 2.3 and 2.7-liter EcoBoost, as it doesn't have a wet belt system like the 2.3 EcoBoost. It has a timing chain, which is far more durable and resilient. On the other hand, the 2.7 is literally asking for trouble, as it's very overworked and much more complicated due to its twin turbocharger setup. Overall, you'll be hard-pressed to find a better workhorse engine than this one. A traditional yet modern exterior. We're having trouble understanding something. Why does every single modern midsize pickup truck try too hard to present itself as something they're not? Take a look at the Tacoma. It literally tries to pose itself as a meatier and beefier truck than any other in the segment, which is hardly the case considering its very cheap power plant. Really, every single body-on-frame pickup truck, except for the Frontier and the Ranger, are way too over-designed for our taste. And albeit the Ranger has a very solid design, it is very contemporary, blandish. The Frontier, on the other hand, is much better. It has always been a very nice-looking vehicle. However, as of this model year, it has been improved even further. First of all, Nissan knew to leave good enough alone, and they've changed only the necessary to refresh their midsize pickup truck. The biggest and most notable change up front is the new grille and bumper design, which are now made to look more off-road and utility-friendly, especially with that unpainted trim that looks like it's part of the same panel on both the grille and the bumper. The side profile is practically identical to the pre-facelift, which is great, as it didn't need any revisions. Also, just look at it. Just look at that blocky side profile. It exudes utility and tradition. Finally, the rear of the Frontier also has been slightly redesigned, with a little bit more creasing and additional design elements that make it look both better and more utilitarian than before. Honestly, this is our favorite looking pickup truck in the segment. Great utility. Apart from looking like a no-nonsense truck, the Frontier also embodies that character too, meaning that what you see is actually what you get, for once. Starting with general truck capabilities, the Nissan Frontier offers a wider range of body styles and bed options. You can get an extended cab or a crew cab, and both of these can be outfitted with a 5-foot and 6-foot bed. The towing capacity is also very solid, and albeit it's not class-leading, it offers 7,150 pounds of maximum towing capacity, which is 500 pounds more than the pre-facelift, and now allows it to play with the big boys, such as the Ford Ranger, the Chevy Colorado, and the Jeep Gladiator, albeit all of these have 7,500 pounds or more. Still, This means that the Frontier has a towing capacity which is 650 pounds more than the Tacoma, which might be a deal maker for some. The payload capacity is 1,620 pounds, which makes it sit snugly at the middle of the pack. In addition to this, the Frontier is also a fantastic off-roader, especially for the price. Sure, it isn't on the same level as off-road-oriented Tacoma trims, or the Gladiator and Chevy Bison ZR2, but it is also drastically less expensive than all of them. Fantastic miles per gallon figures. You wouldn't be at fault for thinking that a V6 engine would be quite a bit of a gas guzzler. However, this is where you might be very surprised. The city MPG for the Frontier is a very respectable 18 miles per gallon, which makes it on par with the Canyon, Colorado, and the V6 Ranger, which is unbelievable considering the fact the engine is much bigger than any of those. The highway MPG takes the cake though. The Frontier can return up to 24 miles per gallon, which is the second best in the entire segment, second only to the Tacoma with rear-wheel drive, which can do 26 miles per gallon, and on par with the 2.3-liter EcoBoost from the Ranger. This really speaks volumes about how well-rounded the engine is, especially if you take into consideration that it's 50% larger on average compared to any of its competitors, and also offers far more HP. A very truck-like interior. We don't know if we're alone in this assessment, but midsize truck interiors have absolutely lost the plot. Every new truck seems to be competing at who will introduce more arbitrary features that nobody will ever use. Gargantuan infotainment screens, unnecessary fully digital gauge clusters, touch capacitive buttons instead of regular tactile ones. Every pickup truck, except for the Frontier. The Nissan Frontier's current generation has been very truck-like from the get-go, and we're very happy to announce that the redesign keeps it the same. There have been some new additions, however. The core of the interior has remained the same. As you can see, there is an abundance of physical controls that allow the interior to remain very ergonomic for those who need a workhorse. Every button feels chunky, every dial is big enough to be easily accessed, and everything has been designed so that you can use and press it even with gloves on. The only real difference is the addition of a new screen, which is a welcome one, as the previous version was, to say the least, very dated. The new 12.3 unit is crisp, responsive, and very easy to access, and albeit it's not the best one in the segment, it's still more than sufficient. That said, there is one gripe we have with the interior: the steering wheel. It's very outdated, as this steering wheel design debuted in the late 2000s, and we frankly expected Nissan to have redesigned it too with this model year. Oh well, you can't have everything, can you? A terrific value for money. Still, we're more than willing to overlook this minor gripe because, well, the Nissan Frontier is a terrific value for money. The Frontier starts from $33,450 for the base S with a crew cab, which is pennies for a truck that comes with a 3.8-liter V6 as standard. You also get painted bumpers and a generally nice interior for the price, albeit the seats should have been better. The SV starts at $35,790, and for that money, you get a better choice of colors, nicer seats, and much higher quality interior, and a larger infotainment screen, making it, in our opinion, a good value for money in the lineup. However, what's interesting is that the value for money proposition gets better as you keep climbing the ladder. The Pro X, which starts at a little over $38,000, comes with all kinds of off-road goodies, such as all-terrain tires and wheels, a more rugged suspension setup, and a more durable and easier to clean interior. However, you don't get four-wheel drive as standard, which is a bummer. To get four-wheel drive, you'll have to go for the Pro 4X, which costs a little less than $42,000. And frankly, it's worth the money, as you get Bilstein dampers, better interior than the Pro X, which also allows it to be a terrific off-road and on-road vehicle. If you've got the money, just go for it. You won't find a better value for money in the segment. The Frontier SL, which is a more road-oriented and plush version of the Frontier, costs virtually the same as the Pro 4X, and albeit it comes with leather seats, a nice partially leather-wrapped dashboard and chrome trim, as well as all kinds of comfort features, we simply wouldn't recommend it. First, it doesn't come with four-wheel drive as standard. You'll have to pay some $2,000 more for that. Actually, this is the case for everything but the Pro 4X trim. Second, it just doesn't fit the Frontier. This is a workhorse pickup truck, and not some posh, slick city boy. If you're up for something like that, you're simply better off with the Ranger Lariat or a GMC Canyon.